In this reflection, I would like to talk about my experience in this course, reading literature and learning English through it, teaching my lesson, and my strengths and weakness. First, reading a book throughout the semester was a meaningful experience for me. And to be honest, when the teacher told us what book we were going to read, I thought that the task we were going to complete, what was expected from us, was a much more academic and political situations going on, and they were, but I also realized that through literature we can do a lot more than just having them reading and completing boring exercises from worksheets. For example, we can ask students to read and create situations, do role plays, think of different endings, and many other things based on what I saw throughout the semester, because the teacher told us to create activities based on each chapter, and I think that was a very creative way to see the book, to see as well authentic expressions using authentic context and relate situations from the book to what happens in our real lives. And that was a very eye-opening thing that happened to me, like identifying things in the book that also happened here in Culiacan, and it was shocking. It also helped me to develop my reading comprehension skills, because I had to follow the plot, understand the characters, and interpret the author's idea. Another aspect that I found beneficial from reading a book throughout the semester was the opportunity to connect emotionally with the text, because, as I said, there were many aspects and situations that I could connect to the place where I live. For example, when people in power try to manipulate the things that they do and everything surrounding them to make themselves be seen as superheroes and that they are doing everything right, when in reality they're just doing what they have to do by giving everyone an equal treatment. That's why literature is way different than any other learning materials, because as readers and students read the stories and tell each other stories as well, they can connect with the content that are being exposed to, reflect on it, and think, and well, improve their critical thinking skills. Also, this made the learning process more memorable for me and my classmates, because we were able to feel the content, and we did feel at the end. Through reading, I was exposed to different perspectives and ways of thinking that helped me develop my experience as a featured educator and a language learner. The teaching of my lesson. While planning it, we had to think carefully about the objectives and the strategies and activities we were going to apply in each stage to see if it fits, and it was well scaffolded throughout all the lesson. And also how to keep students engaged. That's why teaching it was both rewarding and challenging. It gave me and my team the opportunity to apply the concepts and strategies we planned and learned throughout the semester to see if we were on the right path. Before teaching, I have two opportunities of piloting the lesson. One with my classmates that went pretty well because, well, they had the level, and another external that I decided to do with some friend of mine, because he had pretty much the same level that I was going to teach, like the actual lesson that I did, and it did well. But in the actual lesson, it did not. Before the class, we had the opportunity to discuss with the teacher the general profile of the lesson, and we thought by making some changes we were ready to teach it, but in reality we did not. That made me realize that I need other skills than just learning the lesson plan, like classroom management skills and others, to make myself understandable for others with my instructions and teaching vocabulary and other checking questions to make sure that they are understanding well the class instead of just assuming that they are. Finally, my weakness and strengths. My biggest weakness has been participation since semester number one, because, well, I know how to speak with my classmates but when it's time to share my ideas out loud, simply my words do not make sense. So, but I know I'm trying to be a teacher, I'm going to be a teacher, and I don't know how to share my ideas in public. That's not going to work out. So what I will do is that I will focus more on the class to make contributions. Second weakness is my organization, to in the files that I upload, and also to organize my time, like organizing things that I need to do and others that I do not. Due to procrastination, I will keep track of things from most urgent to less urgent to finish things on times and with a better presentation. Finally, my final weakness is plan materials including a variety of methods, strategies, and technological resources to facilitate students' learning and being developing effectiveness in a variety of situations. I think I know how to plan, but I need to implement more methods and technological resources to make my classes more interactive and engaging, instead of using the ones that I already know, like Kahoot and Padlet, things like that, to not overload myself with way more difficult things, but not doing the same in every class. Finally, my strengths, that I know how to analyze states in a detailed manner. I know how to implement the strategies during pre, while, and post in the classroom. And finally, that I know how to adopt, and create materials for the classroom. That will be my final reflection.